If you have any comments that you would like to make, we would love to hear from you. Abby is monitoring the comment section. You can throw us a Rumble rant or a super chat, and we would greatly appreciate that. If you'd like to sponsor our podcast, if you are a business, please let us know. You can reach out to us through our website, as well as if you just like to, give us a little donation to keep the lights on. We'd appreciate that too. You can do that again through our website. We want to thank Salvo for sponsoring us, and I'll chat a little bit more about Salvo later on. And that's what I've got. So,
awesome.
How you guys doing?
Good.
So normally what we do, Anneze, is we kind of chat a little bit, and then we'll get into some questions and talk about stuff, give everyone a quick update.
Nice.
I have lots of, I have some updates that I want to kind of go over, but I don't have to go first. So do you have anything, Abby, or you want me to go for it?
The only updates I have, we had part 2 of the joint workshop for the land development code rewrite on Tuesday night. And I'm
always exciting.
I'm happy to say that we cut the time in half this week, limited to only 2 hours.
Ooh.
So that's going to be working its way through the different boards, planning and zoning, community appearance, and then ultimately the commission later this year.
How many boards are in Lighthouse Point? Do you know?
I think there's, let's see, planning and zoning, code enforcement, community appearance, marine advisory, personnel appeals, which never meets. The charter review committee finished up, so that's no longer a thing. The mayor's about to appoint an economic development board or committee. Are there any other library advisory board?
Oh, we're gonna talk about libraries. Later.
So I think that's
I got library.
I think that's all of them. So yeah, that's about 6 full permanent boards.
Interesting. Just curious.
Cool.
So and then this weekend is Keepers Days in
Which
Lighthouse
is what?
Point. It's kind of like, I don't know, if
Founders
cities,
Day?
If cities had homecomings, I guess you could say.
So do people ask you to the homecoming Keepers Day? Is it like a corsage type situation?
No. There's a dinner tomorrow night, and there's
At Galuppi's.
At Galuppi's. It was held at the yacht club, but because the yacht club isn't open for events right now,
It's under construction.
It's under construction.
Testify to that.
We had to go outside the city limits and go to Galuppi's. Cross Federal Highway.
Very, very far away.
There's a 5K Saturday morning at the crack of dawn. 8 o'clock.
Crack it on for the rest of us.
I am going to be testing my legs. I have not run that far in a long time.
Like a turtle? Is that what I heard you
Yes.
say earlier?
I gotta run like a turtle. I tell you what, I used to run 5Ks and 10Ks all the time back this was 12 years ago now. There's a group of us that we were doing local 5Ks and 10Ks. Did the, actually, I think it was called the Gumbo Limbo Turtle Run.
Probably. Are you ran like a turtle?
And it was up at it was up at Spanish River Beach. Yeah. But anyways,
Sounds like
I
fun.
started squatting heavy, and my running times just tanked. But then there's a parade. I feel like there's something
Do you get
going
to be
on.
in the parade?
Not now, because I'm not actually on the commission. But
Okay.
next year,
I
get to ride in a classic car with my
Nice.
because we were walking out of the workshop Tuesday night, and it was like a U-shaped table. There's planning and zoning on one side, community appearance on the other side, and then the commission. And the mayor included me because I'm going to be voting on this stuff. I will be a commissioner in about a month and a half. And I saw the commissioner that is going to be retiring, that I'm taking her seat. She had these gold things, magnets with her name on it. And I was like, what are those for? And she's like, oh, it's for the car in the parade on Saturday morning. I was like,
Nice.
Cool.
It's so fun. I know. Our Christmas parade in Boca, they all the mayor and all the city council members all ride in cars, and they get to pick whatever car that they want. So it's fun to see their personality come out in the cars. Fran always has a truck, which is great. She rides in her husband's back of her bed of her truck.
Yeah, I think they I don't know who they have a deal with, but they bring in these classic cars.
So
They're all convertibles, and they ride,
So
they
you can
ride
do
through
your
town.
elbow, wrist wave.
Were you guys there 2 years ago when I did the parade through town?
No.
The caravan?
No.
Yes,
I wasn't
Convoy,
there.
yeah.
I was in it.
Yeah.
We were in it with
Did
you.
you elbow, wrist?
Well, I think we were holding a fit.
This is the way, and then this is the princess wave.
Yes.
Thank you for being here today. Yeah. Princess Diaries.
Yeah. So then there's stuff going on at the park on Saturday night, and there's something going on
It's like
Sunday
a whole
afternoon.
thing.
It's a whole weekend. Yeah.
Who plans all this?
There are smaller advisory boards, and so there's a recreation advisory board, and they put all this stuff together,
Fun.
different events throughout the year. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
Cool.
I feel obligated to do as much as I can this year and get involved and meet people and
You're going to be on a
Sure.
first name basis with everyone in the town.
I mean, it's not a big town, so.
You're already halfway there.
I was going to say, you're already there. All right. Jess, what you got?
Well, first of all, I have an announcement to make. I'm
Okay.
no longer working with Commissioner Woodward's office, so I just want to let everybody know that. So I am now no longer officially a government employee of Palm Beach County. So it was fun while it lasted, for sure. I learned a lot and learned so much information. It was an absolutely amazing and great experience. So I'm so thankful to be able to have been part of that. I'm going to use this opportunity to really focus on our 2024 candidates and really focusing on elections. So this coming year. So it definitely works out great for me, and it works out great for a lot of candidates, apparently. So it's like when I mentioned, like, oh, I'm going to focus on 2024, candidates are like, oh, really? Like, I become very, I'm like,
How focused?
I'm like,
Where will you run my campaign?
pretty much. I got really popular real quick. So it was really funny. So I'm happy to help the candidates I can.
Careful.
I will not overextend myself, I promise.
Boundaries, Jessica, boundaries.
We're working on
exactly.
it, guys. We're working on boundaries.
So I do plan on doing most of it through the South County region, in my region, and sticking to the candidates, which Anneze is one of those, and so that's really awesome that she's with us today. I've been catching up a little bit on Palm Beach County stuff, and I think there's a couple things that I think people should know, so I just want to kind of give a couple updates. The county did have a workshop. One of the things was about the EBO program, which is the Equal Business Opportunity Program. They did a workshop on it. Lots of really good information. So if you want to know more about that program and how it works, be sure to check out that workshop. I think it was on the 25th, I think.
I think that was the general meeting.
No,
wasn't it?
that was
No, that was zoning.
That was the zoning meeting, was the 25th. I forgot to write down the date of the
You
workshop.
can
It was
find
just a couple
the last
days ago.
workshop that was, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was very interesting, and Commissioner Baxter actually directed to get more of a study on what the program of the EBO is actually costing the taxpayers. So if we didn't have this program, what would we be spending on contracts versus what we are now? So I thought that was kind of interesting. So another thing that came up in the workshop was that there was talk, I think it was brought up by Mac Bernard, that about moving the governmental center from West Palm Beach to an area towards the Kennel Club.
I don't know where that is.
So it's by the airport.
Okay.
So what is it, Belvedere and Congress?
Southern, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Belvedere and Congress area. And so they were kind of vague about exactly what they wanted to explore, but there's been talks of renovating the governmental center in West Palm Beach. So they have, kind of started that preliminary process, seeing what needs, if they, what's the word I want to do? So they,
Study.
no. So
That's what they usually do. It's a government. They're going to do a study.
So they
we're going to do a survey. We're going to do a
So
study.
they want to redesign it. They want to
Okay.
redesign it. So they're looking to redesign it. They talk with all of the stakeholders, which are like the constitutional, like
all the offices that are
all
there.
the offices in there, all the department heads, the commissioners, like what do they want for their facility? And so they're kind of in that aspects, and they're getting quotes of about, it could be up to like 200 million in order to be able to redo that, because they're talking about adding floors, adding adding floors maybe over the existing parking structure, things of that nature. So it was brought up, I believe, by Mac Bernard about actually just moving the governmental center to this other location. And so they just kind of talked about it kind of vaguely, that they wanted to kind of do this differently. And what I thought was very interesting, and this is just my opinion, this is just take on the information that I had, is that imagine all of those governmental employees that are driving down into West Palm Beach that then wouldn't have to be driving down to downtown West Palm Beach. So I was like, it actually might ease a lot of the congestion in
It's
West
bad
Palm.
down there.
Yeah.
And because it's close to the airport, that area is used to kind of have level, high level traffic, and it's not that far off of 95.
No,
Right,
it's just
right.
the opposite side.
Yeah, so it's
essentially.
like traffic wise, and then to leave the governmental center open, either maybe just my opinion, just my thoughts for like redevelopment or housing or something like that. Like that's kind of killing a lot of issues.
Gonna take away the view.
Yeah,
The
that's
view from the 12th floor.
and you
I
get
don't
the
know about that.
airport instead.
You get the airport. They'll love it.
But I just thought that was very interesting. So it's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on, and I just wanted
It's
to
interesting that you mentioned that because the city of Fort Lauderdale is kind of having those same talks right now. Because I don't know if you remember, about a year ago. Well, I think it was it the beginning of March, or beginning of April? They had that flooding.
Oh, the massive flooding.
Yes.
Yeah, shut the
The
whole
city
city
hall
down.
got flooded out. I mean, they can't even have their commission meetings in City Hall right now. They were having
Oh.
them. They may have since moved them back, but I don't think so. I think they're still having them at the War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale
Wow.
because
Oh.
the
Probably there's
building was-
mold.
yes, the building is like
Yeah.
basically condemned,
Condemned.
damaged.
Yeah.
And so they've been talking about like possibly moving the city, a lot of the city headquarters and offices and stuff out of downtown. Well, one commissioner, I think in particular, has been talking about that because the city does have properties in other parts of the city. And it's like, why are we going? And of course, there's some on the commission, and I think the mayor included, like they want to do this grand redesign of the downtown offices. And it's like, well, like, why do we need to spend all that money when we've got perfectly good properties?
Listen, they better not give Boca any ideas. Boca's meetings should be in the city, in the downtown, in my opinion.
I agree with you. That's crazy that they have them not
In downtown.
in downtown where they have commission chambers.
Right. It's
Yeah,
weird.
that's
It's
So
weird.
weird.
It's
So
very
Boca
strange.
has their meetings since COVID. So first they didn't meet in person for like, I don't know, a year. They did only go-to meetings. And then when they finally started meeting again, they meet. So we have a government building that is off of Congress. So like
Okay.
just south of like Costco. I don't know if you know that area at all over there. So
Yamato.
yeah, Yamato, exactly. So Yamato and Congress over there. So there's this, I mean, it's nice. It's a huge room, but it's just like this big auditorium room that the staff has to bring everything in every week. And we have perfectly good chambers that are downtown with a building that is, from all accounts that I've seen, is fine. I don't know. I could be wrong. If you've been in the building and there's mold or problems, okay. But all of everyone currently sitting on the city council except for one person, so 4 out of the 5, all live west of Military.
Oh wow.
So they don't now
Want
they
to
don't
go further.
they don't have to
Yeah.
drive into downtown because the
Right.
traffic is terrible.
Yeah.
All the construction, there's all kinds of stuff. So now they don't have to drive into downtown to do the meetings.
So they want to keep it.
So they want to keep it
Where
out
it is.
there. And I'm like, So they've also been discussing redeveloping all of our city center. Has been floated. I don't know what the latest is. I haven't watched the last couple of meetings, but that was a conversation definitely over last summer and looking at when they were doing their budget meetings, looking at what getting bids for redeveloping our city hall.
Yeah.
And our community center, which definitely needs that. Our community center.
Well,
is
we do know that Brian, may have a say in that if he gets
Yes.
elected into Boca. Is
when he gets elected.
when-
Shout out,
wh-
Brian.
Yes, when he gets elected, because I know like he would like those meetings to be
Downtown.
Downtown.
Downtown,
5
so.
minutes from where we live, which
Right.
is downtown.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. So definitely, if you are interested in that, be sure to follow Brian Stenberg and give him a few dollars if you can.
Or
Brian
go door knock and go door knocking.
Yep, Brian
Or
Stenberg. BrianStenberg.com for him. And then just a couple other quick things. There was a zoning meeting. The first reading for the commercial vehicles in residential area passed 4-2 to not allow vehicles over 16,000
Wait,
pounds.
is that city or county?
This is county.
Over 16,000 pounds?
To
That's
not
not-
allow them.
That's not very big.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So people who
So-
are truckers who
so
like have their rigs won't be able to park
It
them in
takes
their
it
yards.
takes away semi trucks basically is what this does. And to not allow them to park in the residential area.
Yeah.
So the next reading, normally the second reading is supposed to happen after 5 p.m. but the board actually passed 6-0 to have it at a 9:30 a.m. meeting.
Wow.
So I just found that interesting. So if this is a situation that people are interested in and wanting to know about and finding out what's going on with the truckers and the acreage, you might want to pay attention to that and find out when that next meeting is. I'm not sure if
Are you guys familiar with the township community in Coconut Creek? It's like Sample and Lyons.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have a pickup truck. Like they don't allow not even commercial, like you can't own a pickup truck
even if
park
it's not wrapped.
Correct. Like you can't they do not allow pickup trucks in their parking. Like I have friends that live in there and they cannot own a pickup truck and park it there.
That's so intense.
That's
So intense.
very communist.
So look, I have mixed feelings about that because here's the thing: if you
like a Chevy 1500 or F-150.
no, I don't disagree. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: if the city has passed those laws,
It's not the city, it's the HOA.
okay,
Yeah.
then no.
I mean, you can choose not to buy in that community.
Well, that's my thing. I'm like, if you choose to buy in a community
Yeah.
and these are the rules, then those are the rules when you choose to buy into that community and live there, and then you go in and complain about the
Yeah.
rules, then I feel like that's kind of like bratty. Like
Unless
I don't like
unless
this.
they changed it.
Unless they changed
no,
it
it's been
while
that.
that's where I'm
Or,
like, if
like,
you didn't
what
get
if
to say in
you-
the change,
like,
then
what
no.
if you drive a car, you buy a place in there, and then for some reason, like, you change jobs and your job requires you to drive a truck?
I don't know.
We've had employees where they can't take their company truck home
My friend-
because you can't have like the company logo.
Yep.
And
In
so
Boca, you can't have
yeah.
company logos parked overnight.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have
So-
to park them behind the gates.
So it's just very
Oh, wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
The way that it's kind of turned into this different turn of events has just been interesting. The way that the commissioners are discussing this, I think it's definitely something that everybody should be paying attention to. Another thing that they approved 42 was the zoning for across from Olympic Heights on Lyons. Additional development of 322, I think it was 322 townhomes to be added to that area. Mayor Sachs was actually very
It's real bad.
was very boisterous about the fact that more traffic studies should be done and making sure that the infrastructure is set before approving it. But
Over 300 homes, townhomes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Especially on that road. That road is insane.
Yeah.
Was
my
if
old
it's
school.
right across from Olympic Heights.
right across the street.
And they're already building a development right next to Olympic Heights. They tore out
Yeah.
all the trees, everything, all the
I think
construction
that's
has
like
been.
600 homes, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. It's big. It's a big lot.
It's huge.
So yeah, because my kids, we don't live out there, but my kids, their ballet studio does their performances at Olympic Heights. So
Okay.
every
Yeah.
2 or 3, 4 or 5 months, whatever, every so often, I'm out there every day for a week. So I've watched the progress every couple months. I go back for one of their things, and I'm like, geez, it's
Yeah.
anyway.
So that's kind of catching everybody up in the county. Make sure that you're checking your agendas, making sure you're getting your briefs, knowing exactly what's going on in the county commission and what's going on. And then I actually attended the North Region REC meeting last week.
How was that?
That was very good. Actually, Janine and Bob did a very good job over. Well,
Janine's a big fan of the show.
Yeah.
Yes,
Shout
yes.
out Janine.
Bob still doesn't understand the Palm Beach County budget, but we'll work on it.
Oh,
Budgets are hard for a lot of people.
They are.
that's
they
why I
are.
don't claim to know anything,
I
and I
know.
don't get angry
I know.
about it. I'm
It's
like,
hard.
I don't know enough. Are you looking forward to that, Anneze? We'll get into that. I have so many questions about Delray, but okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But overall, they had a good crowd. They had good candidates, a good show up. So very, very proud of them for really working on getting out the vote and educating the people in North Region. So I was happy to be there, happy to attend. I definitely will be back, and they're big supporting and big fans of ours. So I was happy to show up. So last night was the Hispanic vote meeting, and the supervisor of elections spoke. So we got to hear from Wendy Link. She did a whole presentation, and it was really cool. So there's a couple things I want to point out, that there are 858,648 voters in Palm Beach County.
Okay.
In January, 3,098 voters changed their party.
Did she
in
say which way?
January. No.
No.
But she did give a graph so you could kind of see, which I didn't really dive into, but that's
But
another
most
you
thing.
are
see what-
changing to Republicans.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of
So-
they are leaving the Democratic
But are they
Party.
really leaving the Democrat Party, or are they just changing so
To
they can vote in our primary?
Yeah.
I don't know.
and she alluded to that too. She said, "There's no way to know."
They,
you
I mean,
know?
we know they are.
Well, we'll see what the
We
trend
know
is
some
over the
are.
next
You
few
could
months.
change. I mean, she made it a point to say
You can change every day.
you could change your party every day if you wanted to. It's really easy to do.
No, there's I have a close contact that works at the SOE that works for Wendy Link, and they said that they had someone on the phone who they were confirming their party affiliation to get them to work for working for early voting because they have to have so many of each one, or they try, and the person on the other end of the line alluded to the fact that she might change her party to vote in the primary for the fun of it. The person who
And we all know the Democrats aren't having a primary, so
nope. So we know what that means. So the contact that I had was alluding to, she sounded like she was maybe joking, but it was kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, I think with Wendy Link kind of pointed it out. I think she was very good at being able to say like, yes, they can, and yes, they are.
and there's not really nothing we can do except for
Right.
counterbalance it by
there's a
getting
lot.
ourselves out to vote.
Right, and in 2023, she gave the statistics that 26,448 voters changed their party last year.
Wait, how many?
So 26,448 voters.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That, and we know if they did it last year, that means that's Democrats or Republican for real.
for real.
For reals. I've been watching too many reels about Gen Zers. Reels. Feels.
And then the last thing I just want to note is that ballot boxes are no more in Florida. They are now called secure ballot intake stations. And you can refer to SB 524 to find out more information about what those are.
They're the same thing in function, right?
But they're called secure ballot intake stations
Well,
now.
you
That's
know,
gonna
in
be fun.
22, the Broward County SOE, Joe Scott, he was opening up all these satellite SOE offices so they could have secure ballot intake
dropping locations.
Yeah, because it has to be unless it's an early voting site.
Which, by the way, there are 23 early voting sites in Palm Beach County.
Oh.
You can start voting as early as March. Well, I know that they end on March 17th on St. Patty's Day.
March 8th.
I think so. I think March 8th early voting opens. You can vote if you're registered to vote in the county. You can vote at
17th.
any one of the sites.
But also,
Some of them
Oh,
have
so
changed.
what I
So
was
make
gonna
sure you check the website for where
Right.
they're located. But there are 23 sites throughout the county.
What I was going to say is he tried to put ballot boxes. Maybe it wasn't even at it wasn't satellite offices. It was at libraries and stuff, which aren't technically SOE locations.
No, they're just voting locations.
just voting-
polling sites.
So the state kind of came down pretty hard on him, and he had to shut him
Did
down.
they yeet him?
They didn't yeet him from office. He was real nervous because I don't know if you remember
Listen,
the
I would
governor.
be nervous.
The governor held a press conference in Fort Lauderdale, and I think Marcy came to it.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And,
yeah, I remember that.
And I think he was real nervous he was going to get yeeted that day, but he didn't. That
Listen-
was when they announced that they had arrested a bunch of people for
Oh,
voting.
yeah,
when they
for
weren't
voter
supposed
fraud.
to. Yeah.
So, I think there are definitely more people that the governor should have yeeted, especially like Palm Beach County School Board, talking to you. But he has yeeted a lot more people, I feel like, than governors in the past. So if you're an elected official at a high level, like the SOE in a massive county in Palm Beach, in Florida, I would really walk the straight and narrow because he's not going to be shy about yeeting you, especially if you're from a Democrat.
right.
And now he's on his
county.
revenge campaign.
Yeah, now he's got nothing to lose. He's burned his political future. He's got nothing to lose, and he might as well do it. I mean,
Right.
he came back all fiery. I was like, oh,
I was like,
welcome home.
I was like, where is this DeSantis been
Where
during
have
the
you
primary?
I know. That's
he
what
should
I
have
said.
shown that side of him when he was running for president.
That's
man.
what a lot of people said, that they would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like,
Fiery but mostly peaceful. Come on, it's a
on, Ron.
winning tagline.
One last thing is she did point out that several people or churches and
Polling
temples
sites.
and polling sites may not be the same because a lot of people have pulled out because of anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
issues, or the fact that there's abortion on the ballot. So a lot of churches don't want to.
Ooh,
To be a polling site.
interesting.
Yeah. So be sure to check and verify your polling location. Early voting, you can vote anywhere, but just make sure day of voting that you're making sure that you're at your right precinct.
March
Very
9th
important.
through 17th is early voting.
Yes.
And Broward has 25 early voting sites.
Ooh, beating us by two.
Yeah.
Two. All right.
So,
Anything else?
that's it. My daughter turns 21 tomorrow.
Yay! Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Alexis.
Woo.
If she watches, she probably doesn't.
Just, like off topic, but I'm looking at this list of early voting sites in Broward, and one of them is called Handy Inc.
Oh.
Like, it's not a library, it's not
It's
a,
just like a business?
community center. Handy Inc. on North Andrews Avenue in Fort Lauderdale.
Do they have to pay, right?
What do
use
they
the-
have to do in order to become a
I don't
polling
know, but,
site?
like,
yeah,
what are the
that's what I want to
requirements?
know.
This is like the
I
outlier.
feel like that's
That's
a great
not
way to make
true.
some money and advertise your business.
So, like, other than libraries
spot.
and community centers, there's only one other one that's, like, not one of those. So there's Handy Inc., but then there's the Nob Hill Soccer Club.
It's probably like a
Well, they
community
would
But
have
that's,
center.
like,
make
more of a
up-
community center.
That's
But,
like a community
but
center.
like, the Handy Inc., I'm just thrown for a curve here now.
Well, now you have to look it up. But while you do that, I'm just
Yes.
going to say a couple things that I'm going to be working on my own personal side of things at the Boca Raton, downtown Boca Raton Library. In the board book section, which is on the floor where the little kids can get it. And my son is 5. He likes to go over there and pull out books and look at them. They have a book called Pronouns. And as you can imagine, what is in the book. And they have 2 copies of it in there, in that shelf there, right where he can get it. And then there's a whole section on inclusivity. And one of the books my daughter brought to me when we were there last week, she's like, "Oh, Mommy, can I get this book? The cover's really pretty. It's got flowers and kids, and it's all fun and games and all these beautiful things." And it is like the wokest of wokest.
What's the name of the
It's
book?
called, I will look it up, the one, because I took pictures of all of them. And this one is called,
This is in the city library?
this is in the city library. We Are All Different, a celebration of diversity. And the sad thing is there are sections of the book that I actually thought were really cool because they talked about people who are deaf, and they talk how they use sign language to talk, and they talked about people with different types of abilities like autism and things like that. And I thought that, I'm like, that's so great because that is the world that, you know, I mean, autism, 1 in 32 kids have autism. So my kids are growing up in a world where that is very prevalent, and it's good for them to learn that. So like on the surface, it's a really good thing. But then they work in there. This one is families. And in the picture, it has, I have 2 moms, 1 brother, and 1 sister. This one is, wait, that's a different one. Oh, then this is also good. Our ethnic groups in the world are sometimes put into big categories, many including Black, Asian, or white. They capitalize Black, capitalize Asian, and small letters on white. Why?
That's
Interesting.
That's interesting.
And then this one, I have 2 dads and 1 baby brother. And then, I don't know what this dude
Who's
is.
the author?
The author on this one is Asia Gilland, Gilland.
Asia, like the continent?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, no, not IA, just ASA.
Oh,
Asa.
Asa.
Yeah,
Asa.
sorry, Asa. And then Tracy Turner. And then there was another book on here, which is All Are Welcome. And this one personally bugged me because they have 2 dads in one of the pictures. And one of the dads is wearing a hat, one of the dads is not. And then the little boy that they have is wearing a kippah, like he's like a religious Jewish kid. But the dads are obviously not. So it's like they just like took all these things and like stuck it all in to make it diverse.
Oh, yeah.
And it just bothers me so bad because it's just wrong. And anyway, they have these advertised like right in their own special little table, like attracting the people to them. And I have no issue with these books being in the library. I'm not about banning books. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be available. But what they should be is not in the place where any kid can go and grab them, because these are controversial topics. These are not things that everybody wants their kid learning about, or everybody wants to teach their kid at 5 years old what those words mean. And so if they want to have those books, they can have them. And if a parent wants to have a book about diversity for their children, then they can go ask the librarian, just like the rest of us do about any other subject that we're looking for a book on.
Right.
And say, where's this book? Oh, here is this section story right over here. But the way they have it done is so in your face and so like, this is reality. Like it's like this is how we, it's like
They
accepted.
normalize it.
They're normalizing. Thank you. That is exactly the word. They're very much normalizing this, and it's not acceptable to me, in my opinion. As a taxpayer, I pay a lot of money to live in the city of Boca, and we use the library all the time. We're there 2 or 3 times a week. That we take classes. That we love the library. My kids love going. They love playing with the community. We love it. And this is not the content that I want to have accessible for my little children to be able to grab. So that's just kind of be on the lookout, parents, for what's going on. I've heard the Delray library system is worse. So have fun with that one. I don't know. I haven't been to the Delray library, but that's what I've heard through the parent grapevine is at the Delray library. So that's my own thing. So we'll get into talking about Anneze. All right, Anneze. Tell us, who are you and why are you running for the Delray seat?
Thank you so much, ladies, gentlemen. It's great to be here. Of course, I've lived in Delray since 1991.
Wow.
Like years and years of, of living in Delray. I graduated from Olympic Heights. I started Atlantic High School, and then I moved to Miami. Graduated from FIU with my bachelor's in social work, and then Barry University with my master's. And then after staying in Miami for a while and getting, very tired of the traffic, the craziness, I was like, okay, enough. I'm going back to Delray. So I moved back to Delray, and I started to get more engaged, with the community through
Were you working in
church.
social work? Like you were
Yes,
working
I
in
got
your
my
job?
my first job as a child welfare case manager, and also working with Catholic Charities as a housing coordinator, actually child care director for Catholic Charities, Notre Dame Child Care on 62nd, if you guys are familiar with Miami. Then when I moved back to Delray, I actually got a job all the way in Belglades.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
That is a hike.
Schlep.
Yes. Working as a primary therapist for Glade View Elementary School in Belglade. And I also work for Community Partners.
Did you drive that every day then? To Belglade?
I started every day, then changed to 3 times a week.
That's a long
I
time.
drove out there every day one summer working for my dad in college.
That's so far.
Yeah, because we have a store out there.
Oh, yeah. Is it still there?
Oh, yeah. 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, that's a schlep. I mean, I drove to Kendall every day. For
Oh, that's way
But there's
worse
no
than my book.
traffic, There's
Yes,
it's
there's not.
straight.
Yeah,
like
that's
you're by
true.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nobody
Yeah.
out there.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
had
would
to
take
drive
the
a lot.
Sawgrass down to
You're by
595 and then up 27. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so
I don't
it's
think
very
I've ever been on
peaceful.
27.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would struggle. I'd be getting sleepy on the drive
Yes.
because I am not a morning
You
person.
better.
Me neither.
Yeah, so it's when you get to Palm Beach, then you start to experience the traffic.
Yeah.
But going there, it's no problem. So Delray has been, a part of me. Just grew up in Delray. A lot of my friends still living in Delray.
I was going to say, do a lot of your friends still live there? Are they raising families
my
there?
family, all my
family?
family's in Delray, between Delray and Boynton Beach. So it's we're very close. And so just when I get involved, do more. As a social worker, of course, my background has always been advocating, being a voice. So advocacy is very big for me as a social worker. So, yeah.
Awesome. So when did you decide to jump into this race? At what point, and what was the trigger that you're like, all right, I have to do it?
I ran before 2017.
Oh, okay. So this isn't your first foray.
Second.
Foray. Okay, so this is your second.
Second
okay.
time. So
Who'd you run against in 2017?
Jim Chard.
Oh, okay.
He won and served for about a year, and then ran for mayor, then lost.
Oh,
Yeah, so that
okay.
was
I
the
was wondering
race.
about that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Jim
And now
Chard.
he's running for mayor.
for commissioner.
Oh,
okay.
seat
Seat
one.
Seat 1.
Okay,
Seat
so you're not
1.
running against him again.
No.
Okay.
No. I no.
I don't want to do that again.
All the seats are
Like
at,
deja vu, right?
Yeah, all right.
all the seats are at large.
Yes.
They're not districted at all or anything
No.
like that. Okay.
No. So
That's how Lighthouse Point is
so
too.
in Delray, if you live west of Military Trail, Jog Road, so that's unincorporated Palm Beach, so they would not be able to vote.
Right. Okay.
But anyone
In the city
east-
limits.
right, east of Military Trail, all the way to the beach, they can actually vote
Awesome.
in the race.
So 2017. So how much? What were your numbers? And then was it just a two-way race, or was there multiple people?
4.
Oh, that's even more crazy. So how much did he win by?
So it's crazy. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know.
really.
That's a while ago. It's true.
I can tell you. But so now I'm running again. I am the only Republican in that race. So also only.
Have you been a lifelong
person.
Republican, or did you convert?
Since it's been over like 12 years. Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
raised more conservative, and that's why, or did you kind of have a change and
This
shift?
is something I would. I wish that the Republican Party understand that a lot of like the Caribbean, Haitian, our values are mostly closely related to that of the Republican Party than anything else, because we're very conservative.
The conservative
in our views.
mindset
Yeah.
of the Republican Party.
Yes.
Conservative, very like capital, like small business entrepreneurial minded.
Yes.
I've worked with a lot of my financial coaching clients have been like Jamaican,
Yes.
some Haitian, and I mean like they will outwork anybody.
Yes.
And like the principles of freedom, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. We have that.
But as
we
a
have that
group-
drive. And also like the values, like, you know, like the traditional family.
Yes.
You know, and we want like Haitians, like that's how they want it to be. And that's what we want to teach our kids. And that's how I want to, you know, I want to train my kids, you know. I don't have any kids now, but my nephews and my niece, you know, we want to preserve that. So,
Conserve, if you will.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the Republican Party needs to do a better job of reaching out and
to
bringing
the minority.
bringing the minorities that share the conservative values.
values.
Definitely.
Do you think so? As more of like a voter bloc as a group, the Caribbean, like Haitian, Jamaican islands, do they vote more Democrat generally? Because that's the like, why?
Why? Because of the immigration. Because like you get certain community leaders that would say, hey, you better join the Democratic Party or else you're going to be deported.
Oh, so they use that scare tactic.
Right. Right.
Oh,
They're like,
liars.
So it's like if you become a Republican or
They're gonna
if
deport
you
you.
support,
Yes, that
you
is
know,
the process.
you are going to be deported. So that's what
Change
they
your voter
use.
registration and then we
Right.
show up at your door.
Right. Absolutely.
But that would be scary. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
not joking about it. I'm
So
just like, that's so
I've
intense
had
of a
like
lot.
this conversations like with my families.
And you've told
that's-
them?
I mean, you have to educate them.
Yeah.
You know, I educate them, but that's the one thing that's like keeping them with that party. So I just wish that we
But they do know that even though that they may have a Democrat, I mean, they can't vote for the presidential primary preference, but they can still go into the voters box.
That
and
was
vote-
going to be my next
vote
question. Do you,
however they choose.
if they're do you think that even though there are probably a lot of them are registered Democrats, when they go into the voter booth, do you think that they still vote Democrat, or they're ones, or is it like a quiet thing that they vote Republican?
Okay, so another thing
I'm just curious.
I have to touch on is, like I said, you have community leaders
And
that
they
are
tell
like
you how to vote.
really, you know, saying that they're educating, but they're really, I don't know,
Campaigning.
in a way, you know. And then when kind of like the people they listen,
Yeah.
Sure you
those
talk into
are
the microphone.
those are like trusted voices, you
Okay.
know. So if so and so say support this, then that's who I'm going to support.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
If the Caribbean community were registered Democrats and went into the booths and voted Republican, Central Broward would not be as blue as it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Central Broward has a very large Caribbean
Yeah, it
community.
does.
Right. Right.
Huh.
So a lot of education is needed, and yeah. And you do have like a growing population of Haitian Republicans. And I think
Do they have a club?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to the club.
I know of two.
Is
I know of two.
Joe Thaluska, is he Haitian?
Is he
He
Haitian?
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He is. So you a lot of us are becoming more, you know, vocal
Yeah.
about it, because you know, I'm like, okay, the argument is the two major parties, it's either Democrat or Republican. So
As much
you
as
have
we'd
to
like
choose
for there to
one.
be another one, we
Right.
don't have that
you,
option.
You
right
have
now.
to choose one, right?
Right.
So we all can't be at the same table. That's what I tell them. Like, we all can't be Democrats, and I'm sure all of us are not going to be Republicans. So we have to have a group at this table to find out what's going on and how we can advocate for our community, and another group at this table, so we know, okay, this is what's happening, and this is how we can, you know, empower change.
So your family's Haitian, right? Or-
Yes.
Okay. Right. So what do you think are some of the biggest challenges facing your community in our area?
definitely, I would say housing. Of course, it's everybody, but definitely when you're low income, you can feel it even more.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the language barrier for them to be able to access the resources that, that are like available. So, yeah.
Now, the Delray City Council did or City Commission, I guess, is they recently turned down a multi-housing development.
Right.
Do you have any insight or thoughts on that?
So they turned it down. I actually know the developer, Dr. Jetta, Kurt Jetta. And so it's sad to say, like, this morning I woke up, it was freezing to me. It was freezing.
It was cold.
It was really cold. And I was like covered up and all that. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cold. And I thought about it. I'm like, what about a homeless person right now?
Yeah.
We're not used to it. This is a long, extended period of time. I have to buy my kids sweatpants for school.
Yes.
I mean, like, this is,
Yeah,
they're like, Mom, I'm cold.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
The thought came in.
Yeah.
What about a homeless person right now? So with his development, I told him as a social worker, I understand and I completely support it. One, because I'd rather have like this little, it's not huge because you're sharing, it's kind of like a dorm. You have your room and then you're sharing the bathroom and the kitchen with somebody.
It's like a hostel type situation.
But you're paying about $600 a month.
Oh, wow.
So for someone who's low income,
Yeah.
it helps them to have some type of,
It's like a transitionary thing
right.
to help them have a place
So I
to
would
live,
rather
an
have
address,
that
and then get them.
instead
Then
of
have
sleeping
homeless
in my
people.
car,
Yeah.
sleeping in my car, or have a homeless person sleeping at the park.
Right.
And
Especially around this time.
And the way that they had it designed was, in my opinion, really cool. That's just my personal opinion, because it was like 4 rooms per bathroom, 8 rooms per kitchen.
Oh, it was almost like a suite or a unit.
Yeah, and
setup.
then they had like the little communal areas, and then they really wanted to encourage young and old to be able to create a community. So those that were older, that were on fixed incomes, could be able to afford a place to live, but then also the younger people just starting on their own, wanting, maybe having a couple retail jobs or whatever, trying to, spread their wings. But they had these older people in the community that would be able to kind of help guide them and things of that nature. So I just kind of thought the whole aspects of it was kind of cool, of the way that it was proposed. And I was quite shocked with the fact that it got voted down.
So why do you think it got voted? Sorry.
And that was going to be my question. Why do you think that it got voted down?
So I believe that it got voted down because some people believe that it's going to turn into a sober living type of home.
Into a what?
Sober home. Like
sober
living.
home. Okay.
Yeah. So which two different purpose, because a sober home is it's like a treatment focus, right?
Yeah.
It's treatment focus. Many of those people, they're not alcoholics. They don't have a drug issue. It could be because they're homeless, because maybe they went through a divorce, they lost their home, they lost their jobs, they're veterans. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they have a really strong vetted process where the
That's what I was
people
gonna
That was
say.
going to be
go
what?
through. Yeah, so that definitely
Through the Delray Housing Authority, they were going to do, which is one of the
Exactly.
strictest housing
right.
They still voted it
processes.
down?
And
That seems like they had all the
This
T's
is
and
it was
I's.
political. It was definitely
That's
political.
why was it
that's what-
political?
And which
that's
is
what I'm-
sad because people are in need of it. And I actually I went to a meeting this week with Changing Lives. I don't know if you guys heard of that
Sounds
organization.
familiar.
So they help the homeless population. And we were sitting there and people were like, we've been looking for a home for like so many years. We can't afford it. This is how much. And when I mentioned, would you be able to pay $600 a month? They're like, yeah. Where is that? Where can we find something like that? And it's like, wow, he can't get the permit.
Yeah.
He cannot get the approval.
And this was not going to take any city resources. It was going to be
He
privately.
already owns the property?
It was
He
gonna,
has one property.
It
but
was
he
going to
would
be
try to
privately
get-
funded.
Yes.
And yet the business model that he set forth was going to be also profitable.
Right.
Okay, so
You
what
guys
was
should
the
definitely
breakdown?
Invite him.
What was the breakdown
talk
on who voted yes and who voted no?
That I don't know.
4-1.
Who was the one?
Angela Burns, Commissioner Burns.
Interesting.
She sponsored it.
Okay. And the
she
mayor voted against it?
Everybody else voted against it.
Does the mayor have a?
It's an
does mayor-
equal vote.
It's an equal vote. Okay.
Yeah.
Same as Boca.
So if he had like 3, then
Yeah.
he would be able to get the approval.
Can he appeal, or does he have to wait now to come back? Not
He'd
appeal,
have
but
to
like
wait.
he has to wait. How long
Yeah.
is the time to wait? Do you know? When they get a no vote, like in the county, it's 2 years,
Really?
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at least
Well, unless
another
it's
year.
without prejudice, then they can bring back any time.
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Depends. That's true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I thought about it, last night. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cold. What are these
Yeah.
people doing on the street? It's like
Do you know what the average
Sad.
rents are right now in Delray?
a 1-bedroom, at least 1,300.
Wow.
And
a
are they
2-bedroom,
are there,
like 22.
are they available, or is it like
Barely can't find anything.
barely? Yeah, it is
Yeah.
like maxed out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
of the residents, do you find a lot of residents that are struggling in order to stay in Delray?
Absolutely. A lot of people moved out of there already because
Where are they
it's getting
going?
too expensive. More north, Boynton and Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those areas.
Our neighbor down the street from us, I mean, so we live in Boca in like a normal old house development. We don't live in like the big Boca houses. We live in like the old little Boca houses. And they moved to Hope Sound. She was like, I can't deal anymore down here. She's
Yeah.
lived in her house for 40 years,
Wow.
30,
Wow.
40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's like, so her and her son and his wife and their kids are just like a few weeks, just like a month or two ago.
Wow.
She's like, I'm done. It's too expensive. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
We're moving to Hope Sound.
They moved like Boynton, Lake Worth, Lantana.
Yeah.
Lake Worth Beach.
Lake Worth.
Lake Worth Beach.
It's always gonna be Lake Worth.
It's
to
Lake
me.
Worth. Lake Worth.
Yeah. And
Lake Worth.
taxes going up every year, so it's
What's-
not gonna get any better.
No. What's the
It's
millage
not.
rate now in Delray? Do you know? I know. I knew it. I knew when they were voting on the budgets. I was going to all the
Have you
city
done the
commission
interview
meetings.
with the realtors?
Not yet.
Yeah, they will
Yeah.
ask you that question, so be prepared.
Yes.
Yes, and they'll want to know your
Have to
opinion
look.
on that.
Yes. Thank
So
you.
I think it's pretty similar to probably Boynton and Boca. I mean,
But
Boca's claims that they're
it
not,
was
but we have it.
decreased because I went to the
They
budget.
did decrease that.
Yeah, yeah.
I was at
went
that
to
meeting,
the budget.
too.
There was a workshop with the city manager. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
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 So okay, so we were at a candidate forum the other night, and you mentioned something I wanted to ask you about that
Oh,
you
no.
were no, you're good. It's good. I just had I was like, I have questions. So Rue, you said something about people trying to get you out of the race. What happened there? What was that? So when did you file?
June.
You filed in June. Okay.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've
And
been
wait,
doing this
how many way race is it? How many candidates are running for that seat?
So it was 3.
And now it's 2.
Then it became 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then somebody dropped out,
Okay.
and then they were still trying to get
They wanted to make it a two-way
me-
race.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Pretty
they were trying to
much.
get you to drop out, so it'd be a two-way race.
Correct.
Who were you running against?
You're running against 2 Democrats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah,
it?
It's nonpartisan, but
It's nonpartisan. Yeah. Nick Capola
Okay.
and then Julie Casal.
Who was on the commission before, right?
Correct.
And why did she leave the commission?
Well, she lost her seat last March.
So she lost and she's running again?
Yeah, last March. She's
Stu's
coming back.
laughing.
Well, it was very interesting.
The way
'cause-
she asked the question.
She lost and she's running again. But
Well, I have
Man.
to say, and I spoke to her
Actually,
briefly.
she lost it. The person she lost the seat to is one of those supporter of my opponent that was trying to get me out because kind of like revenge. We don't want her to come back, and if you're in the race,
it's
that
gonna
give
pull
her
votes.
it's like kind of like give her a chance to come back. And by
Oh.
any means necessary, we need to get you out and make sure she never comes back.
Why don't they get her out? Tell her to leave. She already lost. Why
well,
is
it
she
was
spending all
very-
that money?
It
Okay.
was very interesting because in talking, I spoke to her with
Oh,
her
you
for
met, yeah.
for a couple minutes. Like we were like one of the first ones there, so she came up and introduced herself or whatever. But it was like listening to her in the forum, like the first 5-10 minutes, like she talked herself out of getting any
Yep.
votes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like she was like, oh, everybody here is great. Any of them any of these candidates deserve your vote. Like I'm like, I'm not really hearing that you want the seat here, So I just found that very interesting because I was like, you came out very strong, very matter of fact. You were like,
This is why I'm running.
Yeah, like your roots are in Delray. You see what's going on in your community. You want to be an active voice for your community, and you didn't back down from the fact that these are city players.
The old guards.
Okay, so I want tea. Who called you and what did they say? If you can say, I just want to know. I love small town drama.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
You didn't get the Sun Sentinel? It's all in the Sun Sentinel.
I'll have to check
did
that.
I think you sent. I think you did. I think you texted it to me.
Okay.
I think you're right, and I'll find that and I'll
Can you
share
send
that
it to
with
me?
everybody.
But give us
Yeah.
a brief synopsis
Okay,
for
so-
our viewers
okay.
who don't get the sunset.
So first, I was like, okay, I want to hear, because this is new to me. I want to hear what you got to say, kind of. So I did attend one meeting to like, okay, this is politics. Let's talk.
Let's politic.
Right. And then after qualifying, I was like, okay, no time to waste now. It's time
No.
to focus on my campaign. And so the day of qualifying, like hours, not even hours, right? Calls were being made to like my supporters, people who were working, helping me in my campaign. Some of the things that were said, we given us 30 days to get out of the race. This one person, we give, I guess that was,
Or what?
that was my response.
Or what? What are
right,
they gonna
yeah.
do? Like how far are we taking
Okay.
this?
That was my exact reaction. We given us 30 days to get out. And if she didn't get out, that we were going to marginalize her in the Haitian community. She would never have get anything done in the city. I was like, oh, interesting. I'm like, okay.
You're like, let's go.
I'm like, okay.
They showed their hand. Interesting.
Right. So when they called the second meeting, I just didn't show because I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's
Was this in your community? Like people.
So they use a certain group of
Okay.
people in my community, and like they try to create like a slate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one person who's running for mayor, he wants to have a specific slate. So it's him, and of course my opponent, and I guess I don't know about one who.
But which
because,
opponent?
Nick.
Okay.
Right. So it's not Carney.
No, we know who. I can guess.
You can guess.
I can take
So
a guess.
this
And it's not
person-
Shirley, is it?
No. So this person.
She seems so sweet.
She is. So this person wants to have a specific slate so they can have their 3 votes once they get on the commission.
Right.
So it's like everything is done with. Right?
Sounds like Mayor Singer.
Yep.
So they
That
want to
is
have
city
their
politics.
slate.
City
So they want-
politics, I'm
Right. So
telling
they want to
you.
have their slate. Okay, that's your business. Do what you got to do to get your person elected. But because he has a certain group in my community that they have helped him before, they have worked in his campaign. So he was trying to use the same group of people to try to coerce me or whatever. One person actually lives all the way in Canada. And I think I mentioned
you
that. And
mentioned
she
that.
was like, oh, I'll take a plane ticket to come and convince Anneze. I'm like, you're wasting your time. What the heck? I was like, what the
You might
heck?
want to come when it's warmer and spend some time at the beach.
It's a little chilly right now.
Right. So I was like, no. And so, of course, then.
Did it make you dig your heels in more?
Of course.
Okay,
Give me
good.
more energy. I'm
All
like, okay.
right. I see this.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So,
So if they
and then something happened on social media. I guess somebody posted, the Gazette wrote about it because like people were talking about it,
Mhm.
A lot of people were talking about it, and the Gazette wrote something about it.
Wait, what is the Gazette? Sorry.
It's like a little magazine.
Like a
But
Delray.
in Delray, okay.
Delray.
Because there's a West Side
It's like-
Gazette in Broward County, and it's like
It's
like
called Delray Gazette.
gotcha.
Is it
okay.
like a
Delray
is
Gazette.
it like a gossip page, or is it like a what is
They're
it?
unanimous, so
Unanimous,
we don't
yeah.
know. I mean, we have an idea, some of the people that might be behind it, but, And so they started writing about it. And then one of the Facebook page, Ingrid, she posted about it. And somebody say, no, it's not true. And if it is true, I'm going to donate $500 to your favorite charity. And so Ingrid reached out to me. I confirmed it. And then, of course, this person, when Ingrid confirmed it with that person sent his conversation with Ingrid to the Sun Sentinel. And then that's how it started. Not that I intended to ever, take it out, to
the
public,
papers,
whatever.
right.
I just want to say, like, get out of my way, stay out of my race, let me focus, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Let
But
the voters decide.
Let the
Right.
voters
Let the
decide.
voters
exactly. So that was his supporter that actually started the whole mess with sending things to the Sun Sentinel. And so they reached out to me, and I just told them the whole truth. And then
Good for you.
Was the I'm going to read it, but
it's the editorial board,
is it
which they are
favorable?
typically not. They typically don't support Republicans.
Yeah, but I also think a lot of those don't really like bullies.
No,
Right.
They don't
They
like
don't.
bullies and local,
Right.
which is how kind of Jeremy Rogers and Boca got elected. He got elected on a couple things, but he got endorsement from Sun Sentinel because they were trying to bully. Like there was a lot of stuff going on, and
Right.
he charmed them, and he was nice, and he
Right.
told them the whole thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know all the details because it was before I lived in the city, but in the city limits. But they don't like bullies.
No.
right.
They don't like
Yeah.
political bullies.
Same thing happened in 22 with Fort Lauderdale with John Herbst because he was the city auditor, the mayor, and one of the commissioners forced him, fired him. The commission voted to fire him, and he's like, well, screw you guys, I'm going to run for commission then. And now he's a commissioner, and they endorsed him. Like he got the Sun Sentinel endorsement because
They're they're kind
He's
of
basically
funky like that. But the Sun Sentinel,
Yeah.
Palm Beach Post, no. But the Sun Sentinel will do kind of play that weird that card
Yeah.
anyway. So, wow,
that's a lot of drama.
so much.
That is a lot of drama. Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot
And
of
then
drama.
they're trying
around
to
these
twist
races.
it, right? After the Sun Sentinel article came out, they're trying to twist it. That person wrote, to the editor and saying that I was the one soliciting. I was like, okay. So,
They're just trying to distract you.
right.
and
Yep.
Smear you.
Right.
Run your race,
Right.
girl. Run your race.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
what's it been like? With people, what's the feedback that you've gotten from voters and
Good
constituents?
for you.
and
Good
feedbacks?
for you.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like, I'm glad you're still in the race. I'm glad you didn't drop out. Even Julie said it,
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Do you think that a lot of the population in Delray Beach kind of know what's going on, or do you think that they're kind of uneducated and have their head in the sand?
They know.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
after reading the Sun Sentinel, like, I went to a few communities
Mm-hmm.
for a forum, and afterward, people would come up to me and say, "Oh my God, we read what happened. That's crazy." Yeah,
They gave you a lot of free publicity.
Yeah. Take it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
speaking
awesome.
of free stuff. Okay, so let's talk numbers. What's the cost? I don't know. Everybody raises different money, I know, and it's all public record, but I'm just like, what? Like in Boca, I know that the people who win raise and spend like sometimes $70,000.
Ooh.
Yes. Is it like that level of
yes,
in Delray also?
yes,
It's crazy pants.
yes. It's crazy. I mean, it
Crazy.
shouldn't be like that,
No,
but I
it
think what
absolutely
they're
shouldn't be
doing
like that.
is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw Ryan is raised like over like 6 figures.
Wait, who's
He's running for mayor.
Oh, okay.
Like last time, I think it was like 128. The last report, I think.
How much does a Delray City Commissioner make?
Not as low as Lighthouse Point, I can guarantee you.
How much do you guys make?
1,800 a year.
Okay, 26,
Yeah.
which is
1,000
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So you raise
it's not really-
128
to get paid
Because
26.
it's power
Yeah.
and
So-
money.
Yeah.
I
Kickbacks,
just always find
connections.
that
Connections.
I find
Someone
that
who's
so
springboarding to
interesting.
go up. They want to head
Well,
up to
and then that's
Tallahassee.
the thing too. Like technically, it's not their money that they're raising and they're spending.
Unless they
you know?
self-fund.
Unless,
Right.
yeah, they
Mark
Yeah.
Wigder self-funded most of his campaign.
Yeah.
So
6 figures.
I
Wow.
feel, I really would love to see people donate more to local municipal candidates because it
Right.
is
Yeah.
so hard for them to get through this political bullying.
Right.
You know,
The
I thought you were going to say
developers.
something else. I was going to be like, Stu, get the beep button ready.
I thought about it for a second.
How many registered voters are in Delray? Like, what's your voting base?
I think about 45,000.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know the demographics as far as like Republican Democrat split, NPA?
It's more Democrats.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of
Yeah.
MPAs in Delray
Yes.
too. It's
Yeah.
a huge
Yes.
chunk of them.
And I think you have a really good opportunity to really kind of hit those MPAs and those right-leaning Democrats to be able to come, especially with something along these lines of
Right.
like,
Hey, I'm fighting the machine.
exactly.
Look what they're trying to do.
Let's go rage against the machine.
Yeah, exactly.
They've sold out.
They
but
sold
yes.
out.
Exactly. And here you are, you're this sweet social worker that just wants the best for her community. And I think that can really appeal to a lot of people that just want some common sense policies.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, I mean, we really focus on local here, and you know, the big topic, you know, federally and stuff right now is Texas. And Texas was very red, you know, a couple decades ago. It was a very red state. But as we go into what's happening now with the immigration and what's going on,
Right.
is that people want to know, like, how did this happen to Texas? Well, it happened because of liberal policies that got passed in all of these local cities and local municipalities
That's how it
for
starts.
decades.
Right.
And that's how it starts.
Yeah.
And we can start to see that infiltration. I mean, we've definitely seen it in Broward, and we're starting to see it really in Palm Beach, in my opinion. And it's like, if we want to stop that from happening and coming to our door, our municipal elections is where it happens.
Yeah.
And we need to get people educated on, or Florida will be the next Texas. I'm telling you, if we don't start fixing this and making it, you know, a priority in our municipal elections to get good-hearted, integral people like Anneze on the ballot and in those seats, is the only way that we can really make a difference. And that's why we do this podcast. This is why we talk to people and try to educate them, is because a lot of people don't understand these bullying politics that happen in these cities and how incestuous it is. See, I always have those problems with those big words at night. I really do.
Stop using big words.
I know. So I'm like, I'm using it correctly. I just can't say it.
You know what you're
She's
saying.
like halfway there.
Yeah.
Halfway.
So it's like, you know, like working with the county, it's like you have people that are like, oh, used to work in water utilities. Now they work in community services, and then they work at the animal care and control, you know. So it's like you have all of these people that, like, they know each other, and then everybody knows everybody else's business. And then next thing you know, like, everybody knows everything. And then there's, you know, high school chats, people talking behind, you know, this person and that person and everything else. And it's like, that is politics wherever you go. And it takes strong people like you, Anneze, to actually stand up and say enough.
Right.
Like, I want to be a voice for my community, and I just want to say thank you for stepping up and saying, hey, I'm going to take this on, and I'm going to do the best I can and work the best race that I can, that you possibly can, and get this information out there. And I think it's so important. And I love how you and Tom Carney have kind of, you know, connected yourselves a little bit to be able to kind of divide and conquer, because the same type of thing, you know, is kind of happening to him.
Right.
But it looks a little different. You know, there was the whole thing with the chamber versus the forum.
Right.
So I want to kind of ask about that. So my understanding is that the chamber in Delray put on a candidate forum.
Which the chamber in Delray is supposed to be, from what I understand, is apolitical. They don't take political stances. Whereas, like, for people who live in Boca, the Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce does. They do a candidate assessment. They send out a questionnaire. They do an interview, and then they do an endorsement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I didn't know that the Delray one. So when this whole thing kind of started, which we'll get into, but I'm just kind of clarifying for our viewers who don't know, who are familiar more with the Boca side of things, that in Delray, they don't do that. They don't take political stances. They don't take sides. They don't do endorsements. So
from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that the mayor usually does something with this forum. Is that correct? Usually the sitting mayor.
how did it start? So what happened?
Yeah.
I didn't start it.
No, I know you didn't. But, like, what was the shot heard? Like, what was the shot heard around the world? What started the drama?
So I will tell you why I decided.
Okay.
You know,
that works.
to go with the other group. I definitely support the chamber. You know, I support small businesses, of course. I support development. And I decided not to go to the chamber, not because of I guess what prompted the other forum. I guess what prompted the other forum was that I guess they had some type of board installation, and they called it a city address, and they used the vice mayor instead of the mayor.
Who's running for mayor?
So some people feel like they were giving, that candidate an edge, so that was one of the reasons, I guess, Carney did not want to attend. Myself, I decided to attend the other one because of the whole bullying that was happening in my race. And a lot of those people that were bullying me and like posting nasty stuff on social media were part of that group and part of that opponent, and they would be at the chamber. So I feel like, the other forum would have been like a much safer crowd for me.
And who put on the other forum?
It was not any particular group per se. I guess like one candidate started say, I have decided not to join the chamber.
Oh, okay.
I would prefer, can we have something where we do a meet and greet and actually meet the community, talk to the residents and the voters? Would you be willing to attend? And contacted some candidates, and everybody said, yes, I would prefer to be at this particular forum, which would be like a much down to earth and just
getting to talk to voters and hear from them,
talking
connect with
one-on-one,
people,
connecting with people. And so
rather than in a room where you have like
9 decided, hey, yeah,
5 out of the 9. That's a lot.
Attend
I didn't realize it was that. Oh yeah,
that one instead of the chamber. But I believe everybody had their own reason for deciding to.
Have you heard anything about how the chamber one went?
Both of them had great success, I would say.
I mean, we were at the other one that you were at. So for our viewers who were, so that we were there for that one.
The Palm Beach Post was there.
Yes, the Palm Beach Post was there.
Also,
the Coastal Star was there. And who was the other one that we saw, Stu?
The USA Today.
USA Today was there also.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if they were interviewing, but we saw someone with a tag.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So I didn't know that
yeah,
they did
so
local politics.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of them had success because Delray, we have a huge population of voters, and one person posted that they wanted to go to the one I was at because they've never heard me, present my platform, so they wanted to hear, certain candidates that maybe they have not heard before. So people decided, okay, I'd prefer to go to this one instead of that. So I believe both of them had great success.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We had a great turnout, and I believe the chamber
there was a lot of
also
people.
had,
Yeah.
The forum that we went to, I liked it because of the fact it made all of the candidates very personable. Like after it was like you saw the people running up to the candidates and wanting to talk to them and ask them questions. Where I have a feeling that maybe that wasn't such may not have been the case in a more formal atmosphere like a chamber type of
where you have them
event.
like up on
on the lights.
It kind of it separates the candidates a little bit from the voters and from the people. So I thought that, the way that it was approached and a little bit laid back and giving you each an opportunity to speak, I thought was really cool.
Right.
And being able to hear your passion for your community and why you're doing this. I thought you did a great job.
So let's talk water and budgets in Delray.
Woo!
Woohoo! I know, so fun. So because there was a lot of conversation about it, and I'm just curious, like, what is there's a lot of issues with the water pipes, right? In the water treatment. So can you give
old.
us? It's old. Okay.
The water plant, it's old.
It's its own water. Delray's is on its own water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 62 years old. So
Whoa.
it needs to be changed, and they're working on that. They have a budget for it, and they're working on it. So it's in the planning.
It's in the plan. Was it put into the budget and planned for?
Yeah, it's
is it a realistic budget that they picked?
I guess they would know. They're the experts.
They're the experts. And then speaking of the budget,
I trust the city manager. I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The city manager, Delray, yes.
Terrence.
That's right.
Terrence Moore, yeah.
Do you know him?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's newish, right?
Going at 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, considering that in Boca, our city manager's been there for like 20 years and finally just retired. So 3 years is short.
Have that.
3 years is short.
Yeah,
new for me.
We had a revolving table.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going to say there was a little bit of turnover there for like almost 10 years, right? Like they only lasted like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, he lasted the longest, I think, so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, we have a strong mayor system in Lighthouse Point, and so we have a city administrator, and we have a brand new city administrator now, but the one before had been there 27 years, and then he was sick, and he unfortunately passed away in the fall. But the new one was the police chief previously, had been the police chief for about 20 years, and now he's the city administrator. So we just had a whole waterfall promotion process happen in the city because the police chief moved over to city administrator. So then there was a new police chief, and then all these other people in the department, in the police department, got promoted as a result. So it was a really good thing for
the department.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's good.
But a lot of longevity in Lighthouse Point for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to the water department for a moment. Are you open to, discussing once you get elected to maybe revamping the water department, the people who are there and who have been running and making these decisions that haven't necessarily led to good water quality?
They're actually looking into that right now.
Okay.
Because the issue should have been, addressed maybe 10 years. You don't wait 62 years.
They kick the can on infrastructure down the road. Oh, yeah, that's a
when
familiar
there's
story.
an issue, it should have been, better planned, way years, not when, you're starting getting health department involved and so.
Wow.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's a lot of people who are claiming that the water has made them sick, so that's...
Who drinks tap water?
Who?
A lot of people, actually.
I guess. I don't know. My mom would never let us drink the tap water.
Really?
No, it's full of fluoride.
Chlorine and
And
fluoride.
fluoride.
Oh, you can taste it when they
birth
chlorinate the
control,
water.
and
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of fun stuff in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof,
ours
yeah.
smelled like chlorine. Yeah,
When they
ours did in
chlorinate the
Boca.
water, yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
so gross.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm on
Anyway.
county water.
So there was an issue where, with the meter, the water, the meter, people were being overcharged.
Oh gosh.
So they were looking into the departments to switch it over to finance instead of billing because they were using those meters, they're automatic reading, and then they were not catching the errors. So people were getting bills of thousands of dollars. And then where they had to bring it up to the commission, and then where the commission, the mayor had to hey, it's not their problem. We just need to waive those fees. And so
good.
recently we had that issue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
So it's like failing infrastructure with incompetence on on top of it. Ooh, that's a recipe for disaster.
You sure you want to do this?
I was just
Are you
gonna
so
say.
excited?
I was just
I'm
going
a
to
problem solver. I'm a social worker.
That's
what
true.
we do.
That's true. Yeah. No, that seems. Yep. That
Yeah,
checks.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like it.
That's
No,
awesome.
we
Yeah.
need people like you. Absolutely. I very much echo what Jessica said and thanking you for running because it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to put your
not.
name out there.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to be laying in bed
To
at
deal
night.
with a machine.
Having to deal with all of that, just all the drama, all the things and stuff. And I'm sure you've still got a month and a half left,
Yes,
right? So I'm sure
yes.
it's going to get more fun.
Yes.
We'll all be popping popcorn. No, I'm just kidding.
Abby, do we have any comments or anything
Well,
in the chat?
Brian did. He did check in.
Hi, Brian.
Just before we started, on the interview with Anneze, he's like, "Here I am, Brian."
Brian!
Hi, Brian.
I said, "We
Hello,
thought you were
Brian.
indisposed this evening."
He's in Highland Beach. Oh, he wanted to ask us. He wanted us to ask you if you had any opinion at all, because this has happened a little bit ago. So he said maybe not on Highland Beach ditching Delray Beach fire for their own fire. Has that impacted the city at all? Has there been anything about that? It's been a while though now, so I don't know if that's something you've. It's not really an issue that you're facing right
I mean,
now.
for Highland Beach, if it works for them, great.
Has it impacted Delray at all that you know of? Is because they lost contracts or now they have less
It has
calls?
not been brought up.
It hasn't been brought up as an issue.
No.
All right, I was just curious.
From what I remember
Not
from the
that I
guy
know
that
of.
used to go to my gym that was City of Delray Fire and was stationed out on Highland Beach, there was very little action out there on the beach. It was very quiet.
Very
They
dead
loved it.
station.
Yeah, he.
He's like, I get to go to the beach.
So I'm
just
sure
sitting-
they'll miss it.
They'll miss it. Now they're in Delray. Now they're
They'll
back in
miss
Delray.
it.
Yeah.
There's probably lots of calls.
Yeah.
And do we have any other?
No,
chats
that's
or-
the only chat so far tonight.
It's a quiet
So
night
it is a
out
quiet
there.
night. Yeah.
I'm gonna give a shout out for our sponsor real quick. So the renowned political scientist Larry Sabato once said, "Every election is determined by the people who show up. But in today's world, it's more like every election is determined by the people who get out the vote." And we will take it a little bit further. It's those who chase the most ballots who win elections. Anyone who has participated in political campaign organizations know that they can be very disorganized, fragmented, and reactive. And then you also have to deal with consultants who are just there to try to make a dollar, and they care more about their bottom line and their office than they do about the candidate winning the office. So this is where Salvo Journeys comes in. Salvo is a voter outreach platform that gives your political campaign, party, and PAC full control over voter outreach. It lets you do things like plan campaign roadmaps of activities to generate name ID, streamline petition signing, remind voters of important election dates, and of course, the most important, chasing ballots during the get out the vote period. And influencing a voter takes at least 10 contacts. So how do you keep track of who you have emailed, texted, door knocked, sent mailers to, and so on? There are so many vendors and so many disconnected tools, but Salvo solves this by allowing you to target the right voter with the right message at the right time. It unifies the fragmented tool sets into one simple-to-use software with district insights, campaign milestones, voter data segmentation, contact timelines, outreach productivity reporting, and then, of course, the most important, the voter outreach salvos. Salvo is cost-effective because it eliminates the consultant and their vendors, and it lets you go directly to the voter at the best price possible. There are 2 affordable pricing options, month-to-month pricing plans for a do-it-yourself platform, or you can hire a Salvo Journey guide for a month or more to help you get going and help you coordinate your ground game. Things like texting, emailing, door hangers, and mailers are all done at best at in-market prices. And the 2024 election cycle is off to the races. Here we are. It's going to be crazy. So start planning your voter outreach now, or your precinct outreach now if you're a precinct committee person, and go to Salvo Journeys, www.salvo.today, salvo.today to create your account. We, the Locals podcast viewers, get a free guided journey session to help you kickstart your campaign. So make sure that you mention us when you go to Salvo. Salvo Journeys, campaign victory simplified.
Thank you,
Salvo.
Nice.
Thank you, Ro. I have been using it for Bill's campaign. I'm excited. It's working. It's working great. We've got some good journeys set up. I'm excited. And we used it for Brian couple weeks ago to go door knocking.
Yep.
And it's
Make sure you have an extra battery pack or whatever, because it does use the
your battery, because you're using
Yeah.
location services constantly, so
Yeah.
it just drains your battery really quickly. So just make sure you have.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Other than that, it was very easy to use. It was simplified. It
Yeah.
was just
It gave you
like,
good information.
yeah,
I didn't
like-
knock on the wrong door.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
everybody
Is
I
it
knocked on.
similar to WebElect?
I've never used WebElect, but
It has a lot of the data and stuff that WebElect does. But I'm not
That's
that.
more.
Yeah.
does more.
Sounds like.
I think there's a little bit more bells and whistles, but I have not had a full explanation of both of them to be able to do an accurate.
I haven't done
comparison.
WebElect, but I'm pretty sure that it doesn't have it, like she said, as many bells and whistles. And then, especially from a campaign standpoint, Salvo gives you a lot of ways to stay in touch with the voters. Again, like through texting and things like that, and then it keeps track of everything that you do. So anytime you pull up a voter, it'll tell you if you've texted them, it'll tell you if you've emailed them, it'll tell you if you've door knocked for them. If you can do reports. So if you have a conversation with someone and they're like, "Oh, I want a yard sign," you don't have any, you can put like yard sign and then pull that and go back and give them a yard sign. So it gives you, it helps. It gives a lot of options to help from a campaign management standpoint to your operations.
Are you using WebElect?
Yes.
Yeah.
So have you used WebElect?
Just more so for like voter lookup.
Yeah.
I've
primarily
walked.
what I've
I've
used it
walked
for.
briefly with it last fall. I was planning to use Salvo for my campaign, which I ended up not having to use.
Thanks,
Or
Ro, but
not
sorry,
being
Ro.
able to- yeah, I know. Like I really was disappointed because I wanted. You guys had talked so highly of it, and we had used Campaign Sidekick in 22 for the elections for door knocking for the PC work. So I definitely wanted to give Salvo a try, and all of the things, the voter contact and all that just sounded really good.
Well, if you have a hankering to go door knocking, I know Brian is going.
Well,
or Anneze.
I do know. Like I told Glenn, Glenn got endorsed by the Broward GOP Monday night because it is. There are multiple Republicans in that race.
Oh, so he got 60%?
He got way more than 60%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had a meeting Monday night, and that was like the main agenda.
And so he's
item.
running in Pembroke Pines.
and he will be our next guest.
Yes, next
2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Lord willing, and if the creek don't rise. But
it's the same night of the REC meeting for Palm Beach County.
Shoot.
Gotta remind people.
So
Have you ever been involved with Palm Beach County REC?
Yes.
Are you a precinct committee woman?
Not right now.
Have you been before?
Yes.
Yes.
Way like with Michael Barnett
Back in the day.
back then.
No.
Back then.
it was kind of calm.
I saw him last night because I haven't seen you.
Yeah.
So.
But
I promised Glenn that I was going to go down to Southwest Broward and knock doors for him
So you
one
can
weekend.
Go do
Get
that.
a little door
Yeah.
knocking under your sleeve.
Come to,
I gotta-
come
gotta
to
shake the-
Boca. And
I
then
know,
go
that'd
up
be
to
a-
Delray.
Yes.
Much
And then
easier
you
commute
could
for me.
Well, yeah, but see what app he's using.
I think he's using WebElect.
So then, and you're using WebElect.
WebElect,
So then we
yeah.
can see.
We
I mean,
can.
I'm biased because I love Salvo, and Salvo is our sponsor, so
Yeah.
obviously. But I would
told-
be very curious
I
to
told
be able
Glenn,
to get
I
I'm
my
a
said-
big Roe fan. Just
Yeah,
in
we're just a
general.
big Roe
I
fan
saw
in
he was
general.
there Monday night. He was there,
awesome.
Yeah.
but he had given the demo at
He
the.
downgraded to Broward. No, I'm just kidding.
He's a Broward boy.
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing, Abby.
But yeah, no, I told Glenn, I'm like, I want to go door knock with the best. The Southwest County team is they're out there.
They're like our version of.
Yeah.
They're out there
in Broward?
several days a week. I mean,
that's awesome.
Between Chris Eddy, who's running for CD25, and then Glenn, who's running in Pembroke Pines.
CD25. Who is that?
Debbie Wasserman.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
Chris is a great candidate. Like he's a Weston City
Does he have a
commissioner right now.
primary?
He will have some level of primary, but Carla Spalding, who had run for that seat in the
Yes.
past, I believe is changing seats.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Tea.
I think she's changing districts, and she may be moving to CD23.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
That's us.
Yes.
No.
It's going to be
Oh.
another 10-way race.
No, I don't know. Are you in CD23? Because I think it goes up to Boca, but I think
I didn't know.
Delray
Delray's,
is
Louis Frankel.
Yeah.
Frankel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I think
Frankel.
I think Boca Delray is the line because Boca is the
So you're
slowest.
Sheila? Is that Sheila?
No,
CD20. That's
Oh.
CD20, which
Oh.
is part
Sheila
Broward,
McCormick.
part Palm Beach.
We're
Okay.
Moskowitz.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jared
It's
Moskowitz
23.
is our
That's where
rep.
Joe is running in Toluca,
Right.
and he's running. He's running.
And
so there's-
Robert Reinroth.
and Robert Weinroth
I think Stephen Chess has thrown his hat back in the ring
again.
again.
And then we've got Gary Barv.
Yes.
I heard he might have
Not.
dropped out, but I'm not.
I mean, finally,
positive.
qualifying is still a ways away. So
Right.
we're going to see
Yeah.
what shakes down
Yeah.
when we get closer into the year.
But, yeah, I mean, I feel
Good
like it's going to
grief.
be another primary like in 22 where there was like 7-8
6 people.
candidates running.
Is anybody from the Democrat side? Is anybody going to try to primary
Jared,
Moskowitz?
I don't think so.
I doubt
Democrats
it.
don't play that way.
No.
No,
No.
they don't. So, I mean, and he's very. I mean, the problem is
He
is
hasn't done much.
No, but
mean,
he's
he-
got the name recognition in Broward County. Because the problem is people who
Most of the district is in Broward. So
Right,
if you
so
have no name recognition like Weinroth.
Weinroth. I mean, Joe's working it, but he's got more name recognition in Palm Beach County now. So
Yeah.
I know he's working his
He's
way
I
into
mean,
Broward.
whenever I go to events in Broward,
he's there.
typically
so that's
there.
what I'm saying. He's working
No,
his
that's
way
good.
in, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if Bob is, and then I don't know about the others.
But I don't know. I like my thing has been for the last couple of years is like you get all these people running for Congress, but they don't have any track record.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't have. I mean, like someone like a Chip LaMarca,
Right.
would make sense to run because
That's the progression.
He's
Well,
been
that's
a
what the
city
Democrats
commissioner.
do.
He's been a county commissioner. He's been a state rep now.
So this is why.
But yes, you have to develop your farm team. You have
Right.
to develop.
And then
your farm
everybody
system.
jumps in and they all say, well, they go run for Congress. Well, I'm not a politician. That's why I haven't run for anything before.
I
And
don't
I
know why
understand.
people keep saying that.
I understand that. Like, I understand the appeal of that for sure because people hate politicians, but at the
Right.
same time, it's kind of like a catch-22.
It is.
Right.
Because they don't want you to be a politician because they don't want you to be smarmy or they don't want you to be like out for the dollar or whatever politicians are out for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you have no experience, they're like, well, then why should we vote for you?
Yeah.
Right.
So
You're
it's
telling
like-
people you have no experience.
Right. So it's just, I
It's a
think it
catch
depends.
22,
It's a catch-22. I think it really depends on the candidate. I think it really depends on the race, and then I think it depends on the opponent that they're running
Yeah.
against. There's a
And-
perfect
and
storm
The
when it comes to campaigns.
demographics. I mean,
The
like,
demographics.
Broward
Know
is a
your
weird-
demographics,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Broward's a weird duck, man.
But we've got Robert Weinroth running
At least he's not
As a
in this-
Republican.
as a Republican. So the back. I don't know if you know who Bob Weinroth is. So he was a city county commissioner for our district in District 4, which probably you might be in District 4. It's part of Delray, so it depends on where in Delray the line is. Anyway, and
County you're talking
county
about?
commissioner,
Okay,
and he.
I'm District 7 under Mike
Oh, you are.
Bernard.
Okay, so you're Mac Bernard. So because Mac Bernard and Marcy, which was Weinroth's, their district is like this. So it just
Yeah.
depends on what side of the street you live on,
Right.
literally, for some of those areas. So he was the commissioner there during COVID and all
Democrat
Democrat
commissioner.
commissioner with a Republican wife. And during COVID, all the shenanigans, he was there. So then Marcy ran against him and ousted him, which was huge for
And
an
it wasn't
incumbent.
close.
And it wasn't close. She won by 5 points, which was like a huge amount for especially for that race. And so then he decided to change parties, run as a Republican for the school board, and then pulled out of that, and now is running
For
in
CD23.
As a Republican.
as a Republican.
And nobody in Broward really knows who he is.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So in most of the districts, you can't win that
The
district. with
majority of the
His wife
district.
made him
Broward.
switch.
So, like,
He
when
says that he's always been a
He's a dino.
Republican,
But
he
he was a
had to
dino.
run as a Democrat in order to win in Palm
win.
Beach County. And then when he saw
Gotcha.
that Marcy was able to win as a Republican, he decided to run. I mean, that's the story. That's the word on the street. He and I have not spoken about this directly. This is all just tea that I
but
am
yeah,
enjoying.
Joe
Two
Bud
women.
when Joe Bud ran when Joe Bud won the primary and ran against Moskowitz in 22, he won Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
But nobody
He
in
was
Broward.
close.
He was close and he worked it. He worked it in
did.
Broward, but like nobody really knew who he was
Right.
Yeah.
in Broward, and so he lost Broward, so he lost the race.
And now we have Moskowitz.
Moskowitz.
Moskowitz. Remember when he did that?
Oh yes. I'm like, really? And like he had the tweets like, wear a mask, wear a mask,
Oh
wear
yeah.
a mask.
Oh yeah. While he was in
The
Tallahassee
Florida
government.
Department of Emergency
Yup.
Management.
Well, he's
yeah.
mainly known for his social media. He's not really known for what he's doing.
I tell
in
you what, I
Congress.
disagree with his politics most of the time, but every now and then he's got some good
I
like,
know
tweets.
the whole Smurf thing. I
Yeah.
was like, he really played that. He really did.
And he
you
did
know?
a good job when about the gas stoves too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Why
he
didn't I see
did.
that one? I don't
Yeah.
follow him too much because he makes me annoyed. But I should have read that one, I guess. All right. Anybody got anything else to
well-
shout out? Oh wait, before we sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say like,
What's your website?
what's your website?
What's your handles?
How do people reach you?
Yeah. How do
Um,
people volunteer
How do
or
people
donate?
volunteer, donate? Like what?
Yes, we
how can they
need
get involved?
volunteers. We need volunteers. We need people to help us to knock on doors. Of course, I do have a website, AnnezeBarthelemy.com.
I'll drop it in
I was gonna
the.
say, can you put it in the?
I'm gonna put it in
chats?
the chats and also in the show notes.
Okay, and we'll put it in
So-
our social media too.
Yeah, and the number is 561-729-5781.
Okay.
Yes, we need lots of volunteers.
Are you door knocking?
Yes, we are.
All the
Every
time.
day.
All the time.
Every
all the
day.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
it was so
you.
nice chatting
Thank
with
you.
you.
Thank
for
you.
chatting.
We loved
with
having
me.
you. Loved to get to know you a little bit better. Be sure to share this episode
will.
with your voters. We try to do good stuff around here and educate people and make sure that we're getting them out to vote. Like I said, the municipals are a huge thing. We want to make sure that we're protecting our cities. We need to make sure that we have good people in those seats that are in charge of our governance. So definitely. Anything else?
Thank you, Salvo,
Thank
for your sponsorship. Thank you, Inez, for joining us. This was so
Jessica.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I wanna go ahead and I wanna thank our sponsor again, Salvo.today. You can follow us on X at We The Locals FL. You can follow us on Facebook.
Check mark.
Yes. Oh yes, we're verified.
We got verified.
We got verified on Twitter.
We're verified on X. Yay.
An X.
You can find us on Facebook at We The Locals. Our website is WeTheLocalsPodcast.com, where you can donate to us. You can find out more about our sponsors. You can check out all of our episodes. All of the links are there. If you have any questions, want to set the record straight on anything, want us to highlight anything in your town, in your area, be sure to email us at WeTheLocalsFL@gmail.com. If there's anything else I can say, just don't forget to vote March 19th or your early voting or get your vote by mail. So I just want to say have a great night, everybody, and stay local.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.